We're in trouble in America. We're losing our moral bearings. We're losing our respect for the rule of law. And you look around America today and things are bad and they're getting worse. We're broke. We're dispirited. We're scared. We've been moving closer and closer to socialism, further away from God, the Constitution, doing what's right in our own eyes, and all the while not noticing that it's killing us. It's killing our nation.
Just beginning.
Americans tend to be too comfortable, slowly but surely turning their backs on the sacrifices their forefathers made for liberty. Why is that? As bad as it is, as horrible as it seems, as unlikely as it appears that we can escape, what we're going through can actually be a vitally necessary experience for us, and one that is ultimately very healthy and liberating for this country. The truth needs to be told in all the dark places, because it's the truth that sets us free.
Am I going to worry about it? First of all, I'm not going to worry about it, Phil, because he's not going to win.
He is not going to win.
She's going to win easily.
Is hope and joy rising?
Victory is in sight in less than 3 weeks.
I think that he loses.
We just made history.
How do you like my garbage truck?
But you still can't see. Freedom is good, communism bad. You thought that you could cheat. Now we laugh at your history beat. America survived, now you shave your head. Less God we require, more control you desire. Your plans are screwed, is crying now. Common law shouldn't be run. You've been dealing with years and you won't. Democrats are screwed, is crying. The hatred you ignite, delusion you incite, neither can stop the mega wave.
You okay? I think I'm okay.
Telling us to turn the page, now for the machine you raise. No one believes a word you say. Less God we require, more control you desire. Your plans are screwed, crying now. Rockstar do what they told. Hollywood Wrigley and old. We are live the Jews, you're crying now. So there's so many tears you can cry as your life quickly improves, and then you will see President Trump was always right. The best days yet to come.
The Dilly meme team coming through with a winner, a banger of a funny, thankful video. I am so thankful. We are getting ready for Thanksgiving. It's WorldNet Daily Live. We are on the air, and it is the day before Thanksgiving, November 27, 2024. I'm Matt Edwards. Welcome to the program, and we've got a lot to get to, but it was good to start out with a laugh because there are some good things to be thankful for. And one of them is this, apparently this fantastic news of a ceasefire over in Israel between Israel and Hezbollah and Hamas and all the actors involved there. Josh Turnbow, of course, with us as well.
Hey, Matt.
And so what's going on over in Israel? This is seemingly great news. Once again, the world seems to be coming back together a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the theme for the show today is thankful. It's Thanksgiving tomorrow. It's pretty awesome. I hope everybody's having a great time being at home with their family starting today and of course tomorrow. Man, like this, we're going to kind of cover the ground on what's happening in lead up to Trump taking power. And one thing that Trump promised to everybody was that there would be more peace. There'd be peace everywhere. He'd cut a deal, the greatest deal, right away. And, in this case, Biden's trying to take a victory lap because, Biden's claiming the victory for this Israel ceasefire with Hezbollah. But and if everybody doesn't know, Hezbollah is like this weird mercenary army that's in the north of Israel in Lebanon. And while they weren't part of the Hamas attack on October 7th, they also they work hand in hand. So if Hamas attacks, Hezbollah attacks, and they easily fire rockets. They actually have soldiers, and any war that takes place in northern Israel with Hezbollah totally displaces all the folks that live in northern Israel. So a ceasefire is a good deal because people haven't been able to actually live in the towns in the north, and now they can kind of go home. So that's kind of the significance of the whole thing.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll get into some footage and some more on this news. We got the link over at WND as well. But first, let's just let everybody know that Patriot Mobile is now on board with WorldNet Daily. Yep. Happy Thanksgiving, folks. Patriot Mobile, you can scan the QR code. You can go to patriotmobile.com/WNDPatriot. That's /WNDPatriot. Or use the promo code WNDPatriot and sign up for Patriot Mobile for your cell phone service. Now, the great thing about Patriot Mobile is that they are a conservative Christian company, unabashedly, and they donate directly to conservative Christian causes. So part of their take-home pay, part of their profits go towards that. So when you're supporting or when you're taking your business to Patriot Mobile, you can be sure that you are supporting some great organizations. So scan the QR code, head over to patriotmobile.com/WNDPatriot, or click the link in the description. And we like that they wish us a happy Thanksgiving. Okay. But before this ceasefire happened, there was we do have a footage here. Hezbollah attacked. This is from a year ago, right? This footage here, is this from a year ago?
It is. It's older footage, but this will give you an idea of kind of like what it looked like, the barrage going back and forth.
Yeah, it was horrific, the amount of firepower and stuff that was, and they were, these were targeting, military sites, but also, in this region, everything is so close that, there's a lot of innocents losing their lives. But yeah, let's watch some of this footage here.
Yeah, this is like different rocket. That was one was a jet bombing a location, but the other one's a rocket attack that had come in from the north and
right into Nazareth, I think.
Yeah, that whole area of northern Israel, they just pretty much had to evacuate. So it is a good thing that there is a ceasefire at this point.
Yeah, and of course, over at WND.com, we have the story up there, so we encourage you to go over there and share the story. We will enforce it, says Netanyahu. He agrees to a ceasefire deal with Hezbollah after more than a year of conflict. And Trump then put out a statement before the election about ending the conflict in Israel. This is one of those videos, those quick video statements that he likes to put out. And so we have that. So let's show that. Yeah.
The United States has let the Middle East get totally out of control. Really bad things are happening, all easily within our power to stop. Could lead actually to catastrophe if not handled with strength and precision. Same is true with Russia, Ukraine, and maybe even more so. We have to fix our country. We have to bring peace. Our nation is in dire trouble. I will fix it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. And so, yeah, I mean, look, Biden, I think Biden's going to take credit for this, of course, because I mean, he's in power right now and everything, but we just, there's no, I don't think we would be here right now if Kamala was the president or president-elect, right? I mean, I just don't think we're going to be here. Everybody understands what's going on. And ABC News tweeted out, posted on X, is this a clip of Biden taking credit for the ceasefire? Yeah, this is Biden coming out. This is the official White House position on what's going on there.
I have some good news to report from the Middle East. I just spoke with the Prime Minister of Israel and Lebanon. I'm pleased to announce that their government has accepted the United States proposal to end the devastating conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. I want to thank President Macron of France for his partnership in reaching this moment. For nearly 14 months, a deadly conflict raged across the border that separates Israel and Lebanon. A conflict that began the day after the October 7 attack by Hamas on Israel. Hours later, at 2 a.m. in the morning, Hezbollah and other terrorist organizations backed by Iran attacked Israel in support of Hamas. Let's be clear, Israel did not launch this war. The Lebanese people did not seek that war either, nor did the United States.
No. Does he go on to just say it was all Iran's fault and to
he goes on to
we're launching an attack on Iran?
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of surprised actually, Matt, that they're still bringing him out to do stuff. You know what I mean? We're so close to not seeing him much anymore. So
yeah, it's true. And guys like us, we sit here, we go, it's all a big puppet show anyway. It doesn't really matter. But I think I think in the end, it is good that the average American Joe can see that the president is still trying to be presidential. I think the only thing short of him coming out there and saying, the only thing he missed saying was, I just got off the phone with Benjamin Netanyahu. He said he just got off the phone with Donald Trump and he's telling me that they've come to a ceasefire. Yeah. Like that's all that was missing out of that, but I could read the context in there somewhere.
Matt, you see Tiny Loves Boston's comment here, resting poopy face.
That's the RPF, right?
Yeah. he looked a little, like he was a little tense down low.
Oh dear. Well, the Washington Post is reporting here that this is a gift. This will be a gift to Trump as Israel prepares the Lebanon ceasefire. And so, I mean, I don't know if this was specifically intended to be a gift to Trump, but he will certainly accept this gift because he doesn't have to walk into, considering that if this ceasefire holds, that he's not walking into something that he needs to put out the fires, right away. I mean, obviously a ceasefire is what it is. I feel like they're always going into a ceasefire only to then have it be broken at some point. So hopefully we can just get to this point where there's peace,
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Yeah. That's like, we're talking about Israel, which is this is a lower intensity conflict than what's happening in Ukraine. So maybe hopefully this will be kind of a foreshadowing of what's to come as far as like the sides are taking Trump at his word, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, we'll get out ahead of it.
And we'll get into more of this stuff about like taking Trump at his word. I mean, I saw I don't know who posted, I don't know if World Net Daily posted it or somebody posted an old clip from like 2012 of Trump where he said, some leaders can come in and say, we're going to impose a 20% tariff on you. you know, and he's like, but you got to come in there with the tone and say, I'm going to impose 25% on you. You know,
you go high, they go low.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Fox News is reporting, it's covering this as well. Let's, do we have this post here on X?
Emily, this is a potential national security problem, so we have reached out to the National Security Council at the White House to find out what they are tracking. We will bring you their answer once we have one. We have also been in touch with some officials down with the transition team at Mar-a-Lago. They are not willing to go any further at this time than this statement. We made a graphic so you can follow along. Last night and this morning, several of President Trump's cabinet nominees and administration appointees were targeted in violent, un-American threats to their lives and those who live with them. These attacks ranged from bomb threats to swatting. In response, law enforcement and other authorities acted quickly to ensure the safety of those who were targeted. President Trump and the entire transition team are grateful for their swift action. And just as we were coming to air, we learned who at least one of these Trump appointees, or rather Trump nominees, who received one of these threats last night. It was Elise Stefanik, who President Trump wants confirmed by the Senate to be the ambassador to the United Nations. She says, in part, in a statement, this morning, her office says, this morning, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, her husband, and their 3-year-old son were driving home to Saratoga County from Washington for Thanksgiving when they were informed of a bomb threat to their residence. She goes on to describe a pretty robust response. And we were also told that this is Fox News Digital, that the director of the CIA nominee, John Ratcliffe, and Pete Hegseth, the DOD nominee, were among those targeted too. Keep in mind, these are all private citizens right now who are up for big jobs in the future. And once somebody takes over the Defense Department, say, they would have Pentagon police. Once somebody takes over the CIA, they would have CIA police. But right now, they are private citizens living in their homes preparing for confirmation hearings. So they don't have security details per se to deal with something like a swatting incident where the police show up because of an erroneous, with guns drawn potentially because of an erroneous tip that there is some kind of violent action happening. So we will bring you more names as we have them, as well as the White House response as we have it. President Biden is vacationing in Nantucket at the moment. We don't know if he has been briefed yet.
All right, Peter.
Of course.
A lot of vacationing for Joe Biden.
Sorry, I didn't set that up properly. We were doing a fast transition to this other breaking story that happened where these Trump appointees were getting some sort of death threats or violent threats against them. I mean, this seems to be the left's tactic. I mean, this isn't new. It goes on for time in memoriam here. But here was a statement that the Trump Vance team put out, and I guess over this holiday weekend, we just continue to pray through now and until these folks get their protection that Ducey was talking about there. But this is just it's uncalled for, but also I'm not surprised. Are you?
You're right. Notice that I don't remember this happening from the right. In the past when they do all these when the left had power. I don't remember this kind of stuff where, swatting is absolutely a tool of the left.
Yeah.
And folks, if people don't know what swatting is, this is where computer hackers essentially use a phone system that looks like it's being locally dialed to the police, and they'll say there is a man holding everyone hostage in this house. He has a gun. He's going to kill everyone. And in that scenario, almost all law enforcement has to just respond with a SWAT team, but they don't announce. They just kick the door and come into people's homes at night. And what happens a lot of times, people are killed because, say like they jump up and grab a firearm thinking someone's breaking in their house, and you're swatted. The cops shoot you. They don't know who. They don't know the scenario. And
very dangerous.
There's been a lot of talk of reforming this or trying to reform this because certain conservative figures like Tim Pool, for instance, who's conservative now, I guess. He's a famous YouTuber. He's been swatted I think it's 6 times now.
Yeah. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been swatted. She came out with that. So yeah, it's a horrible tactic. And what it really is it's death by swatting. It's like murder by swatting. Like you think it's funny But like you just said, Josh, if it happens to you in the middle of the night,
you
or
have
any
no
time
idea.
of the day, and you're somebody who's armed and ready because you are a notable person, right?
Yeah.
The police are going to come in. They see somebody with a gun because it's been reported that someone is in there with a gun doing violence. They're going to shoot to kill, or at least to maim. I mean, it's a horrible tactic. So we got to continue to pray for that, and we also hope you're going to hate this. This is probably the most cringy segue. You want to make sure you protect yourself.
Is that what you're going? I knew you were going to segue with that,
Matt. It was. I tried to fight it, but I
go.
figured I'd just acknowledge that it was a cringy segue. But there it is. What is that? What do you got on there?
Oh, it just might be that Daifrico Kung Fu grip with that 12 degree. See, like instead of back here, it's up here, which gives you more control on the weapon. And of course, I have my tan, my desert tan, which is great. It matches my furniture with my sights and everything. You want to throw up the graphic, and we'll show everybody Daifrico grip for your AR rifle. A fantastic gift for Christmas, especially $20, I think, guys. Click the QR code and go to Daifrico. Order some of these for people you love that are firearms enthusiasts, the real kind with AR-15s. And you can get it in all these colors. And they have a cool thing here. If you come back to me, guys, they got this cool, I don't have my focus, but this is the plug you can buy. And in this plug, you can put your optics batteries pretty much too. So the grip plus the plug, awesome gift for Christmas. If you want to get it for anybody, Daifrico, awesome sponsor we're working with on the show as well.
Yes, very grateful for them. Get those. I mean, I feel like your Second Amendment is enhanced by a 12 degree.
It's enhanced by 12 degrees.
It is.
Yeah.
You up
and it looks good too. Let's be honest. You got to go to the range. You don't want to look like a guy with wood on your rifle.
Right. All right. Well, as we clean up, we see that they're trying to clean up the mess over there in the Middle East. Trump is on the domestic front, and he announced some plans to impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico in order for them to help clean up the border and stop people using their country to bring in drugs and crime and all this stuff. This was posted up on X, so let's take a look at this.
Bonjour tout le monde. I had a good call with Donald Trump last night again. We obviously talked about laying out the facts, talking about how the intense and effective connections between our two countries flow back and forth. We talked about some of the challenges that we can work on together. It was a good call. This is something that we can do, laying out the facts, moving forward in constructive ways. This is a relationship that we know takes a certain amount of working on, and that's what we'll do. One of the really important things is that we be all pulling together on this. The Team Canada approach is what works. That's where, putting aside partisanship, that's where I reached out immediately to Doug Ford to agree with him that we would have a First Ministers meeting this week to talk about the United States. Talked with François Legault and some other premiers as well. There's work to do, but we know how to do it.
Yeah. It's what's interesting about this whole tariff thing is I keep seeing the argument back and forth, Josh, like, Trump is going to, with these tariffs, all he's doing is raising prices for Americans. But what's really interesting is the people that freak out the most are the leaders of these other countries.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you say you're going to impose a tariff on this. So obviously that was Trudeau from Canada.
Yeah.
But Josh, so what's your take on this whole notion of imposing tariffs in order to sort of, level the playing field in terms of, your supposed free market partners, but also to effectively get your partners, your supposed partners, to stop allowing, for instance, in Mexico, secure your border and stop allowing these things to happen. I mean, what's your take on that,
Matt? We're going to see that the way the world works is you use force of power, you use leverage to get what you need. And so never before, it feels so weird we talk about this stuff, that it even is a reality that a foreign nation lets their people that sometimes are not even from their country, right, from Central America, like Mexico lets them flood across our border, and we have no penalty for them at all. And that's just not how it's going to be in going forward. Donald Trump wants to use the scale of the American economy. Everybody wants to make a deal with America because it makes everyone else rich. And gone are the days that we just let everyone walk on us. Canada needs to be, and these may be used as political leverage tools, which I'm all for. For instance, Canada's off the rails as far as how lefty they are. They have suicide pods. They have, I think it's called the MAID program. And their solution for people that are mentally unwell is to just let them commit suicide in this creepy sci-fi pod thing they get in, and it pumps nitrous gas in it, or nitrogen gas. And this is their solution. And so, no, Canada needs to be put back in line. They are our hat. Let's not forget. Okay, there's some bizarre thing we let as an outgrowth of our country. I'm going to sound nationalist here, but that's how I feel. They're like a really disturbed country. They got this clown Trudeau.
It's very disturbing. Sorry to cut you off, but like there's a story on WorldNet Daily that I read this morning about a town that's being fined $15,000. The town and the mayor is being fined $15,000 because they didn't celebrate Pride Month. So a pride group went to some sort of, Star Chamber panel and said, hey, we asked this town to do a pride and they didn't do it. And so they imposed a $15,000 fine, which they're going to have to pay because it's all legal under the Canadian system. I mean, that is not a free country. That is bizarre. That is so bizarre. So you're absolutely right. Like this whole notion that Canada is, it's just another America to the north is like, preposterous, especially when you got a guy like that running, running the show.
With Trump in the presidency, they're going to get in line. And who's that's going to benefit the most is their citizens who've been suffering under this. I think the thing about the Canadians, honestly, Matt, is they're like some of the nicest people in the world, and they've just been tread upon now. And they, like the Australians, they can't figure out how you come back from that. But as their neighbor, we're going to do our best to have policies that are going to make them get in line, and it's going to benefit the people of Canada.
Yeah, it really is. And you're right about the people. I mean, they don't know because you don't know what you have until it's been taken away. And if you don't have it in the beginning, then you don't really think about it as much, and we can see the extremes when folks come over from, during the 80s when people were escaping Soviet Russia or Romania or something like that. And they'd come here and they were so thankful. There was this clip of Yakov Smirnoff on the Tonight Show being so thankful, for escaping Russia and Soviet Union and coming to America. But even today, I just in the last couple of years, a friend of mine, a Canadian, born and raised in Canada and moved to America, and she went and got her citizenship in the United States. And as a gift, we gave her a nice little pocket constitution, and she like read the Bill of Rights again, because it was in her hands again after becoming an American, and she went, "Wow, like this is real to me now." Like I never really put the two and two together. That it really is real, that at least on paper we have these things, right? We're guaranteed, at least it's on paper where we know what the rights that we're born with and what we're guaranteed with. But, so we have to fight in this country to make sure we don't turn into Canada is all I'm trying to say. So you got to stay diligent.
You could win an election on that, Matt.
Let's
not turn into Canada, people.
No, let's not turn into Canada. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, so on this whole tariff situation, Trump had his own statement that he put out. This is what's got everybody up in an uproar up here. And I don't know if we could read the whole thing, but As everyone is aware, thousands of people pouring in through Mexico and Canada, bringing crime, drugs at levels they've never seen before. You know, he used to only blame this on Mexico. It's interesting that he's adding Canada into the mix here, which I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it may not happen in our neck of the woods on the western side of the United States, but when you think about Toronto and how close it is to the East Coast and how that is an international city, like, you know, it certainly is not beyond the thought that it could happen. Anyway, he says, so on January 20th, as one of his many first executive orders, he will sign all documents to put a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States and its ridiculous open borders. This tariff will remain in effect until such a time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. Both Mexico and Canada have the absolute right and power to easily solve this long simmering problem, and we hereby demand that they use this power, and until such time they do, before it is time for them to pay a very big price. And I look at this and I think to myself, like, tariffs are the alternative to war, right? Like,
yeah, they are.
If you're having an invasion at the southern border, you'd want to send in your military to stop it from happening. But if you know that the other country isn't the one actually invading, you can say they're just aiding and abetting and allowing it to happen. You can say, well, then we're going to charge you lots of money for all your products until you fix the problem. So I always look at this as a great, it's much better than war. It's much better than sending people to their death on both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, I was going to say in regard to the Mexico stuff too, there's been kind of rumblings of, hey, the cartel doing what they want, the days of drugs flowing into America, we're going to cease that again. Remember the DARE program back in the day, yes. Matt? I think, they need to have a new acronym just as like rifle, and we'll figure out that like they're going to put, Trump's talked about using the military elements, right? This is like the movie Sicario, to stop the cartels, because they are allowed to run rampant, and it is one of the elements destroying our country with the drug usage. Here's a segue for you, Matt. This is America's strength, right? Strength is being put by upholding our laws that we already have. They're not new. And then that's Tom Homan for you. That's like why everybody's really enjoying this guy's comments.
Yeah, man. Let's watch some of this. This is great.
What you've done is not only protect the state of Texas and the citizens of Texas, you are protecting this nation. It's a shame we have other governors and other mayors who are right out of the gate. I said they're going to push back on President Trump and what we're trying to do, especially for interior enforcement. Let me be clear. There is going to be a mass deportation because we just finished a mass illegal immigration crisis on the border, where anybody can look at 9 out of 10 people claim asylum at the border will end up with an order removal. So you can't ask for the right to claim asylum, the right to see a judge, the right to due process, and we give you that due process, and at the end of that due process, a federal judge orders you removed, we have to remove them. Because if we don't, shut down immigration court. Those orders don't mean anything anymore. Take you guys off the border because there's no consequences. So you can't demand due process and the right to claim asylum and not obey the court order. That is why there needs to be...
God, it's so refreshing when you have someone with common sense who just looks at the issue as, and says, this is what's going to happen. That, of course, is Tom Homan, the incoming border czar that Trump is going to put in charge of the border and the deportation of all these gangs and criminals, these violent criminals that have been out there let loose in our country. It's horrible.
It's like a new day in every way, but it's a return to like common sense. Like in that Fox clip, Matt, there's people streaming through a hole in the wall, and the only it's so bizarre. Like you would normally be arrested immediately if you got caught running across. They'd arrest you. Instead, let's remember what they did, guys. They put everybody that came across, and millions came across. Mm-hmm. And then they went, well, I just don't know what to do with these people. Let's ship them to the interior of the country. Like it really was, like sometimes you see something like, I wonder what this is about. It's obvious, right? Change the country. through illegal flooding of new citizens that aren't normal citizens that understand what America is about. They don't really care. They just want to survive. So
we've seen it happen to Europe. I mean, that's what's happened to Europe over the last 20 years. I mean, we've just seen it over and over again, and these countries are losing their own identity, their own natural identities. You know, I mean, and that's not to say, again, you know, it's not to say that the identity of America is unique in that when you come here, you become an American, and becoming an American requires a duty. It's a civic duty. Like there are things that you should be doing to become an American. And we don't have to get into all that now, but but when you become an American, it doesn't matter your background, your race, or your religion, whatever it is. It's like you become an American because you've embraced the American culture. You're not here to change and turn America into Somalia or El Salvador or whatever it is that they're allowing to do. Okay, for fear of being called many other names that I'm already called anyway, it doesn't really matter. Another fantastic Trump pick after a week of Trump picks where I was kind of like questioning what was going on. After a great start, this here, and you're gonna have to. I try to say his name all the time, but I just call him Dr. J. Yeah, Bhattacharya. There you go.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic pick, Josh. I mean, this guy. If anything, being picked to run the NIH, if the NIH needs to stick around, I mean that's always with the caveat of Doge, right? If we're going to keep the NIH, then I'm glad that this guy's in charge of it. One of the things that I want to point out is this guy was the one of the co-authors of the Great Barrington Declaration. If you remember from the pandemic, that was a huge thing.
We should refresh people on like. Gosh, it already seems so long ago, you know, like what that was. Matt, do you need me to do that or? What was the Great Barrington Declaration? So basically, folks, if you remember, in the midst of COVID, there were only a few voices that were looking around and going like scientific voices, right? They were going, hey, the lockdowns, maybe not a great idea. Masking doesn't really work.
The social distancing.
And they were, and Jay Bhattacharya was part of a group, and it's called the Great Barrington Declaration because at the time they were in Great Barrington, the town, and when they all wrote it. But basically, what it says like, hey guys, this is not scientific what we're doing. And then they had a bunch of scientists sign it and then give suggestions. And Jay Bhattacharya is a PhD. He's at Stanford, guys. He's not, he's not slacking on expertise. And immediately the NIH and Fauci, our good friend Fauci
and Collins, they
Francis Collins.
Oh yeah, they were afraid of this.
Francis Collins, formerly the head of the NIH. And NIH is a gigantic organization that has so much money to, their whole job is to keep America healthy. They specifically, through emails, said, we got to shut these guys down and discredit them, right? That was their whole goal, and it worked. And Jay Bhattacharya, Stanford PhD, was censored from YouTube and from all social media
everywhere.
Yeah. It was incredible. Right. And they said he's a fringe voice. Okay. And in just the most poetic justice sense, he's now going to be head of the NIH.
Yeah. It's incredible.
It's like a movie, man. Like, where, like the guy, the gladiator, whatever. Now he's the king. It's crazy.
Right.
It's fantastic.
Right. Well, let's remind folks some of the responses that he had during the pandemic. We've got a clip here. Let's watch.
Yeah.
Scientific consensus in favor of them. That was a lie. There was never a scientific consensus on almost any of the topics. And as you say on masks, in fact, the pre-existing narrative, the pre-existing idea among most scientists before the pandemic was quite the opposite direction. What happened was a relatively small group cartel almost of very powerful scientific bureaucrats took over the whole apparatus of science, at least as far as the public eye was concerned, dominated the media, dominated the message to politicians. And as a result, we had a catastrophic response to COVID. And we're going to be paying the cost of that for a very long time.
Yeah. And then we also,
and that was Jay Bhattacharya, by the way.
Yes. And he was also with Tucker during, I don't know the date of this, but it looks like it was obviously when Tucker was still on Fox News, but this was either during the pandemic or obviously within the throes of the effects of everything that was going on. Let's watch this.
The Stanford professor physician who specializes in this stuff seems like he'd be the last person you'd censor, correct?
I mean, the key thing here, Tucker, that I think that folks need to know, what they wanted to do, and this I think is government actors and also old media, old owners of Twitter, they wanted to create this illusion of consensus about the science.
That's right.
That didn't actually exist. They wanted to fool people into thinking that we were following the science, when in fact there was a robust debate among scientists about what the right thing to do was. And the consequence is schools closed, businesses closed, unvaccinated people lost their jobs because of mandates, even though none of the science actually, none of the persuasive science actually supported any of those positions. People suffered as a consequence of this censorship, and of course, it's an abstract violation of my civil rights, my First Amendment rights. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is that American people were denied a debate, an honest debate. And I believe that had that honest debate taken place, none of those policies would have been put in place, and all of that suffering could have been avoided.
The point was...
Oh, gosh, it's such vindication. It's such vindication. Of course, the other side won't say that. They'll say, well, Trump is a maniac anyway. And of course, he's going to put in maniacs like RFK and this guy. I mean, these people were all discredited. I mean, it's sad. It's sad that we have to look at it that way, but it's such a great sign, at least.
Matt, the irony of that clip, too, is that, Tucker was part of Fox News, and Tucker's now, created his whole new empire, but he lost his job on Fox News, people arguably think because he was calling out Big Pharma.
Right.
And man,
no surprise there.
And now, he's gone on to do his new thing, which is probably, it is going to be a media empire shortly as we see the decline of normal media or old media. That's
the thing. Yeah, and you hit it in the nail on the head there with this big pharma stuff. It's very interesting how they leading up to the election, RFK was talking about we got to get rid of these big pharma ads on TV, not necessarily because of what they're pushing, but because the money controls the media, all that money. And then as we get into the holiday season, I started seeing people post things on social media. And if you recall, Josh, when we were younger, Christmas time on TV was the commercials were actually entertaining. There were Coke would put out these these Christmas commercials, and all these different products and all these different department stores and whatever it was were putting out Christmas themed commercials that were so heartwarming, or they were funny, or they But nowadays the monopoly on advertising is such that all of those brands can't afford the placements now because Big Pharma has pushed them out by demanding more and more airtime. And I thought, man, what a crazy conspiracy that seems to have just taken a hold. But I hope we can bring back, commercials, good feel good commercials again. Make commercials great again. I hate commercials. So anyway, that was my take when I saw that. So before we wrap out here, somebody's made an appearance in the world again, right?
Oh yeah, she came back, folks. Kamala's back for just one last message.
Back in town.
Remember Kamala Harris, guys? Remember that seems like a year ago, Matt, that we were seing her everywhere.
Yes, but she is our sitting vice president, so we should expect to see her out there. But some people have noticed that, she supposedly went to Hawaii to recoup and reinvigorate herself. But this is a portion of some of the remarks that she delivered over the
ever let anybody take your power from you? You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did.
What? First of all,
wait, I'm sorry. What? Was that doctored? Was that doctored footage?
I think we have to say that someone may have made a joke of the original footage, but all they did was they just put the bottle in the scene, the bottle that was clearly behind the scenes in the dressing room.
You guys.
How dare you? She's a nice lady.
And Matt, like, what, dude? She's so blasted or something, but like, this is like, it's so. The left's talking points, they don't make sense anymore. Like, you could kind of understand them before because we're flooded with them, but like, don't let anyone take your power. What the hell are you talking about?
I don't know. I played that clip for my wife last night, and she was just like, "Okay,
I don't get it." Yeah, goodbye.
Don't let anybody take your power away. Who took away?
Which power? You know, we have this one that we love here. It's called voting. That took away her power. Is what it did.
It's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. All right, well, folks, you know that. Oh wait, we had one more. Well, let's do this thing, and then we'll. Oh no, let's do this. What is this? This is the. Our old buddy. This guy's great. He's got to get a position. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like he needs to stay on TV.
Yeah.
Other times I feel like he needs a position in the administration, but. Mr. CNN, I forget his name just lost me here.
Alex Jones.
No, not Alex. No, not Alex Jones.
Oh, the fact checker. Yes.
Yeah. So on CNN, he claimed that X is now the most the most equalized discourse is happening on X. Watch this clip.
I heard what you're saying about X. I saw a survey this week. It's now the most ideologically balanced user platform.
Scott, stop. It's too early. I just sat down. I've only been here for 2 minutes.
You cannot continue to say the show, but
you cannot say that. That's not the case.
So
Who's the source of that?
What I find, we reported it on this network.
Look at this. The party ID among those who regularly use X/Twitter for news. Back in 2022, 65% of those who regularly use Twitter/X.
Look at that, Josh. That is amazing, right?
Were Republicans.
What a dunk on those morons. Scott Jennings, bro.
They deserve everything. Look, Dems still hold a 1-point lead on X.
New overall makeup matches the overall electorate far better.
Far better. I mean, he was exactly right. Scott Jennings is the man.
I'm excited to see a lot more of Scott Jennings. Didn't know who he was really before the election, but now, like this guy, I mean, people are going to pay to see him just talk.
And again, like he's in such the perfect role, that like keep him at the panel. Keep them like setting off the triggers for all the lefties at CNN. If they gave him his own show, I think it would kind of just like he would lose his power. He
needs to be
don't
the
let
counter
them take
voice.
your power away. Don't let them take your power away.
Hey everybody. Don't let them take your power.
Don't let them take your power away. Also, don't let them take away your survival pack. If you are headed into a survival situation, you need this 72 survival system from Uncharted Supply Company. This pack here, every survival situation usually can be resolved. It usually is resolved in 72 hours. But what are you going to do in those 72 hours? You need a pack like this. Keep one in your car, keep one in your garage, under your bed, wherever you need, one for every member of your family. You can never have too many of these things. Scan the QR code, hit the link in the description, head over to Uncharted Supply Company and get yourself one of these packs, or 2 or 3 or 4. And do that for the holiday season. How great would it be to give one of these as a gift? It just shows how much you care.
I would love one. If anyone I know is listening, I would love this.
That was great. I remember when somebody gave us all like earthquake packs. You had an earthquake kit, and they're like, "Here's an earthquake kit." You're like, "Wow, this is the most thoughtful thing ever." Because like, who does this? Very very few people do that. So go ahead and do that. All right. Speaking of Thanksgiving, are you guys ready, Josh?
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm going to try to not eat as much this year.
What's your staple? What do you do? Do you do the turkey or do you do other things? What do you do?
Do a turkey and a ham, but really try to nail the mashed potatoes for everybody.
Oh, okay.
You know, I think I'm on mashed potato duty this year. So
very good.
Yeah. And the bird, man. The bird's got to be perfect.
Yeah. So what's your method now? Because there's so many methods with the internet. The method of cooking the bird, you can spatchcock it and put it down. You can deep fry it. You can butter it up and bake it for 4 hours or 15 hours.
Well,
smoke it. I mean, what?
I'm not trying to burn down my house this year, so no frying,
no deep.
We're just gonna go the classic oven technique.
The classic oven technique. Are you in charge of the bird?
I'll weigh in and help. My wife is amazing at cooking the bird, but I always help.
Ah, very good, very good.
Yeah,
I'm in charge of Brussels sprouts. I make fantastic Brussels sprouts.
Oh, that sounds great.
So, isn't that interesting? We're Josh. We must be in that generation where when we were a kid, vegetables were terrible, and then something happened where we figured out how do you cook them.
Well, they used to just boil them, and now we put them with like bacon.
Yes. It's like a no-brainer.
It's gonna be good with bacon.
No-brainer, man. It's a no-brainer. All right. Well, wherever you are, if you're headed out to how do you want to go out on that clip, or do you want to go through the Rumble stuff, our new X graphic?
You know what? I'll just say real quick, folks, and we'll show you. We'd love you to follow us on. I know you probably already are, but follow us on our social media. We're going to throw those up real quick. So first is Rumble. Go over there. Please hit follow. And we love Rumble because it actually doesn't censor everything we put on here. Everything else does, or the major sites do, Facebook and YouTube. But also our X account, we have a graphic for that. Click on that. Please go follow us over on X. That breaks the fastest amount of news. So if something's breaking, you can go over to our X. You will see that we are on top of it, and that, of course, kicks back over to worldnetdaily.com.
And didn't it just break 70,000? Just broke 70,000 recently.
Yeah, we're over 70,000. I think we're about to hit 71,000. Awesome.
Nice. Very good.
People are finding that follow button easier than the Rumble follow button. We need you to go follow on Rumble. And also, we're going to launch a new YouTube channel because we are so censored on YouTube that we're at the point now where you just got to relaunch. So starting next week, we'll be asking folks, go over there and follow. And YouTube is so censorious. Oh my gosh. Almost every episode. But thank you. Please follow us on all those. And if you're watching here, we really appreciate you. And we're extremely thankful.
I am very thankful.
This season that you watch us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm thankful to you, Josh, and the team over there. The great folks in the studio over there, like all of them, like so great. Thankful to everybody who's watching out there. I have many blessings. I'm very grateful to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and we're so grateful that He's kept Kamala Harris from not taking the White House. At least yet. We still don't know what's going on, but I'm holding out. I'm holding out until January 20. Very good. All right. Well, when you head out, go ahead.
Matt, sorry. We're also thankful for folks like Tiny, Paul Riggin, everybody. I see Jolie, Jennifer. Anybody commenting, guys? We really appreciate your comments. And we will put them up. Happy Thanksgiving from.
And if you don't follow me on X, Tiny, if you guys are on X, you chatterbox people, like follow me on X. Tell me that you're who you are on the show. That way I can follow you back because that's fun. I like that.
Yeah, do the same, guys. I'm over.
And then we'll all gang up and go comment on Elizabeth's post one day. Can we do that? Like we'll all just coordinate a big bomb on one of her posts and just comment. She'll be like, "What's going on?" That'd be great.
That's great.
I would love that. Okay, anyway.
You gonna set this last one up, Matt?
Well, I mean, when you head out to your Thanksgiving holidays, especially this year, 2024, things might be a little bit different. You might be walking in with a little bit of a different attitude, and I say go with it. And if you can channel your inner Alex Jones, you may as well do that. So we're gonna go out with that. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. God bless.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I told the globalists a long time ago, and I meant it. You want to fight, you better believe you've got one. And there are people all over this country engaging in the information war. We're going to smash your system. We're going to return the republic. We'll never be perfect, but my God, we're not going to keep babies alive and harvest their organs. We're not going to sell their parts for women's cosmetics. We're not going to have Pepsi with baby flavoring in it. I mean, what the hell